Welcome back to the FB podcast, where we dissect the hottest stories in football. Today, I have a question that may surprise, even shock many Red Devils fans. Is Victor Gyokeres the savior of Manchester United's attack, or is he just a mirage born of the desire of a team that is lacking so much? Let's dive into this issue, because what I'm about to share may completely change the way you view the future of Man United. Man United under Rúben Amorim are really struggling with the problem of attack throughout the 2024-2025 season, when they only scored 44 goals in the whole season. This number is equal to the teams that are relegated, a clear warning for a disjointed and unstable attacking system. What is more worrying is that the way they score goals shows no sign of organization. They do not create regular chances, do not have a clear playmaker, and do not have a striker who can act as a fulcrum. We have seen that Højlund is still inexperienced, unable to carry the attack. Rashford has dropped miserably and has even been pushed to Villa, and Bruno Fernandes, who has the highest ability to create breakthroughs, is pulled back to play too far from the penalty area in the new formation, significantly reducing his role in the attack. Rúben Amorim has deployed a 3-4-2-1 and sometimes a 3-4-3 formation with the ambition of playing with quick transitions, pressing from a distance, and holding the ball with presse. While the Premier League is not the Portuguese league, if the pressing is not quick enough and the links are not in sync, the team will be punished immediately. What Amorim needs to get things going is an attacking trio of two wide and central players who can hold the ball, dribble, and combine, two direct number 10s, and a center forward who can move intelligently, be a focal point, attract people, or stretch the defense. The problem, however, is that United currently have no one who can play each of these roles. The midfield lacks connection, the wings are not sharp enough to pump the ball consistently, and most importantly, there is a lack of a striker who can hold the ball and put pressure on the opposition defense. Amorim's transition system is like a machine with insufficient parts, sometimes running smoothly, sometimes stuck in places. The football he envisions is good in theory, but in reality, the current squad is not enough to turn it into a winning formula, and that's where Victor Gyokeres comes in. He scored for Sporting last season and was a whirlwind in the Portuguese league. Speed, power, and early finish, and especially the ability to carry the ball himself to create chance. This is the type of striker that counter-attacking teams crave, running extremely well in transition, not afraid to run shooting from off position, and not needing too many touches to finish. If you just look at the numbers and highlights, it's easy to say that this is the savior of Manchester United's front line. He's the type of center forward who doesn't need too much control, doesn't require complicated buildups, just needs space to rush in. For a team that's hungry for goals, such a clear destination in the box is a big difference from last season when Garnacho liked to stretch the field, Højlund was hungry for the ball, and Bruno was always drawn to the middle of the pitch. Gyokeres is also experienced under pressure, knows how to survive in difficult situations, and scored over 40 goals in all competitions last season. It's not just the numbers, it's the finishing, the goal-scoring mindset, and the confidence that no one in the current United squad has. Højlund is still learning, Garnacho and Matheus are young, and Bruno is not a striker. Looking beyond the surface numbers, Gyokeres is also a shaper, someone who can remind the United attack how to run, how to accelerate, and when to seize the opportunity, like something United have struggled to find over the past 3 seasons. But is Gyokeres really the solution, or is he just a figment of the imagination born of a team lacking too much? The problem is that for Gyokeres to perform at his best, you have to create games with a lot of space. And to do that, you have to have a pressing system that is good enough to force the opposition into a reaction, or at least sharp enough to force their defense deep and then switch to a surprising state. And that is something that Man United do not have, and a team that does not control the game well lacks quality ball winners and has not built a reliable midfield. Gyokeres can be suffocated by EPL defenses that are too used to frantically and lonely catching strikers. Not to mention, Gyokeres is not good at playing with his back to goal. He needs the ball to come to him, not with his back to goal, and then handle it in a tight area. When faced with a low block, that lack of finesse will be very obvious. He likes to play wide, likes to dribble from the armpit rather than stay in the middle of the box. This can be confusing to the system if there is not a good wall player or a number 10 willing to come in, and if you leave him out of the ball for too long, Gyokeres will drift out of position, demanding the ball dribbling and then disappearing. Not because he is bad, but because he wants to be involved in the game too much, even when the system does not need him. In other words, Gyokeres can be a useful weapon if you know how to use it. If Rúben Amorim does have the trio of Gyokeres, Khaya, Matheus, Khaya, and Embumo, Bryan, Embumo, then at least mechanically, his pressing and counter-attacking system will take on a clearer shade. Matheus Khaya is not a striker striker who scores 20 goals a season, but he is one of the rare left-sided number 10s in modern football. He can both escape pressure and hold the ball up to link up the front line, especially when pressed on the wing or in the half spaces. The way he dribbles, turns, and then taps in one touch when pressed is something United are sorely lacking. A South American style link between a confused midfield and an uncoordinated attack. However, for Khaya to be at his best, he needs a center forward who moves constantly, stretches the defense, and is willing to receive the ball at odd angles, and that is why Gyokeres could be the perfect fit for that role. On the right flank, if the Bryan Embumo deal goes through, Manchester United will have an extremely rare profile, a player who can press as hard as a defensive midfielder, run as a striker, and finish cleanly with both feet. More importantly, Embumo is the type of player Amorim is hardworking, not afraid to let others shine. When playing on the right side of a 3-4-2-1, Embumo can play inside as an inside right forward to create a numerical advantage in the middle. The opposition fullback then has to choose between marking Embumo or tracking Gyokeres' cuts, and Bruno Fernandes, who is pushed back to play deeper, has the space to make direct passes. If the system is deployed properly, Gyokeres will not have to carry the burden alone, instead being isolated in a ring of defenders like Højlund did last season. He will be supported by two satellites constantly moving diagonally and centrally, creating overlap situations on both sides and then switching directions extremely quickly. In the 3-4-2-1 formation, wingbacks like Doku and Dalot will play the role of stretching the width, while the center backs like Maizoro and Martinez will be in charge of building up from the back, creating a foundation for the attack to be truly loose. However, this formation also requires a lot of stability and mobility from the midfield. Putting Bruno Fernandes next to a player like Manuel Ugarte or Kobbie Mainoo will help Bruno not have to compete as much, but focus on coordinating and handling the second ball. And when the positions are all allocated to the right roles, that is not forcing Bruno to play low, not requiring Embumo to become a pressing version of Rashford, and not forcing Gyokeres to become Haaland, then Man United's attack will have the opportunity to operate as a real system. The question here is not whether Gyokeres or Embumo are good enough, but whether Rúben Amorim can arrange them into a system that fits together in the right place at the right time. Given that it has been a long time since United had the chance to build a fast, aggressive, and space-moving attack from scratch, this could be the rare occasion when they can dream of a trio that doesn't require magic, but only logic. Gyokeres isn't necessarily a savior, but he would be a clear upgrade if United are determined to play transitional football, which they did so well under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and even Erik ten Hag in the first few months. But that positive scenario only happens if Manchester United play Amorim's game and in the right way. That is, create quick transitions or have a strong enough midfield to absorb the pressure and then give Gyokeres an early break. He can't always counterattack, but with just a few of those situations in each game, he can still bring in 15 to 20 goals a season. As long as he doesn't have his back to goal too much, doesn't force him to be a classic target man, then Gyokeres can be an effective goal scorer. On the contrary, if Man United continue to play disjointedly, can't control the midfield, and constantly have to play attacking positions against low blocks, Gyokeres will be out of power. He's not the type of striker who plays with 5 defenders. The EPL is not the Portuguese Liga. The defenders here are smarter, stronger, and don't give you much time to react. Putting a striker who has just arrived in England in isolation and expecting him to score goals is the quickest way to ruin a good signing. In short, Gyokeres brings directness, a goal-scoring mindset, and a confidence that United have been lacking. He is the perfect fit for a transitional system where his pace and finishing ability can be utilized to their full potential, but he is not a magic switch that can solve all problems on its own. Gyokeres' success at Old Trafford depends entirely on Amorim's ability to build a well-functioning system, with a strong midfield, good supporting players, and a clear style of play. Otherwise, he will be a diamond in the rough, buried in the mess that United are facing. So, in your opinion, is Victor Gyokeres really the future of Man United's attack? Can Amorim turn him into a fearsome weapon as we have analyzed? Leave your comments below. Let's debate together. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the FB Podcast channel so you don't miss out on in-depth football analysis. Goodbye, and see you in the next episode.